Well, right after I came back and I finished my college degree and my teaching credential, you might say. And so someone from Lodi High School, the athletic director, called my baseball coach and said, "We're looking for a freshman baseball coach. Do you know anybody?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I do." So he called me. I called the athletic director, and the next thing you know, I'm stuck in Lodi again.
All right. I wonder when we will get to that.
There you go.
שלום וברוכים הבאים לאי כושר הוטדוג, פודקאסט הבייסבול הראשון בעברית עם יוני לב-ארי ואנוכי ארז שץ. שלום יוני.
אהלן ארז.
יוני, משדר 163.
תראה מה זה, רק נכנסנו, סיימנו עונה שלמה ונכנסנו לפגרה בעצם של השידורים, ישר לתוך משדר מגזין. אתה רואה מה זה?
לגמרי.
כאילו שמרנו את המגזין ל-163.
למרות שפעם עוד היה 163, הרי פעם היה...
המשחק הנוסף.
כן, המשחק הנוסף, כמו בלוטו.
כן, בדיוק.
כן, נירי תנאבי הייתה זורקת את הפרסט פיץ'.
גדול.
זה כי כזכור, המשדר מגיע לכם בחסות תת-רש מסחר ויבוא עצים. כל סוגי העצים מכל רחבי העולם ובאיכות יוצאת דופן. בקרו אותנו בכתובת דרך בן צבי 20 ביפו או באינטרנט tima.co.il, כי המחירים שלנו הם לא בדיחת קרש.
גולש צומח על עצים, זה יכול לתת גולש?
יחס. בחרנו לנצל את הרגע הזה כדי לעשות לשדר משדר מיוחד שיושב אצלנו בקנה כבר מאז כמה חודשים טובים, בוא נאמר. כבר עוד הייתה ליגה
כן, זה ברמה של
שלהי הליגה.
מאי כזה? אזור מאי.
אזור יוני-יולי, כן. משהו כזה. וזה, התמזל מזלנו והצלחנו לתפוס לראיון ככה שעה טובה את פט דויל. פט דויל, לפי השם אתה יכול לראות, הוא לא בחור ישראלי, נולד בסנה מוניקה בקליפורניה. הוא קליפורניאי, ווסט אליי. כן. והוא שיחק בייסבול ב-LA, ואחרי זה הלך, אין לו קריירת מייג'ור ליג, אבל יש לו קריירה מאוד מאוד עשירה כקואוץ', כמאמן. הוא היה מיינור ליג פיצ'ר ברד סוקס, ואז הוא הגיע ללודי היי סקול, ושם הוא בעצם אימן במשך הרבה מאוד שנים. על הדרך יצא לו להיות גם באנקורג' גליישר פיילוט,
כן.
שזה אז הם היו קבוצת קולג מאנקורג' מאלסקה. קיצור, בחור עם רזומה מעניין מאוד, ועל הדרך הוא גם כן הכיר קצת את נבחרת ישראל.
ואימן
את נבחרת ישראל.
בתחילת התקופה הטובה, תחילת תור הזהב.
בדיוק, הוא היה אשר של...
בדיוק.
כן, הוא היה קואוץ', third base coach ב-2017 בוורלד בייסבול קלאסיק, והנה מעורב, וככה אנחנו הגענו אליו בעצם. אתה קצת יודע לספר לנו איך בעצם התוודענו לעובדה שהוא בארץ וכל זה?
יניב רוזנפלד, מיודענו, יקירנו, האיש, אלוף פיקוד צפון, נקרא לו, אירח את פט אצלו לשבוע של אינטנסיבי של אימונים.
כן.
עם כל הילדים שלו.
כן, ממש הוא עושה שם קליניקס ועבד עם זה, והוא בא גם קצת ככה, אתה יודע, לראות את העתודה שיש שם, ובתקווה קצת, אתה יודע, להשתמש בקשרים שלו. אגב, הוא גם קשור לכל הוא חלק זאת אומרת, יש לו גם מאחר ויש לו קשרים בקולג'ים וזהו.
והסברתי לי יניב שאין מצב כזה שמיסטר דויל חוזר לארצות הברית בלי שהוא עובר דרכנו. נכון. בלי שהוא מסדר לנו איתו שעה וחצי של פן משותף.
כן.
אז הצלחנו יום לפני הטיסה
לגמרי, כן.
להכניס אותו לחדר עם מחבטים וכדורים בכפר הבפטיסטים. וישבנו לשיחה ארוכה ומאוד מעניינת.
כן, זהו, ממש ישבנו במחסן בכפר הבפטיסטים, זה היה מאוד משעשע.
כן.
אבל תשמע, זה היה, קודם כל הבן אדם הוא בייסבול, זאת אומרת, הוא לא רק נראה כמו מחבט, הוא גם, אתה רואה שהבן אדם חי בייסבול, והוא אמר, הוא הול אוף פיימר של האמריקן בייסבול קואוצ'ז אסוסיישן. עכשיו צריך להגיד, זה ארגון שהוא לא קשור למייג'ור ליג, אז בעצם כל מי ששם מהי סקולס וקולג'ז וכמובן מיינור ליג ומייג'ור ליג, אז הוא בזכות זה שיש לו, שהוא היה מאמן בייסבול במשך כל כך הרבה שנים בכל הרמות, הוא נכנס לדברים, צריך להגיד, התמונה שלו בדף של ה-ABCA Hall of Fame היא במדי נבחרת ישראל.
יפה.
כלומר, הוא רואה בזה הישג, אבל כששאלו אותו באמת מה ההישג הכי גדול שלו, ודיברנו על זה, אז הוא אמר, העובדה שאני יכול לאמן את הנכדות שלי בבייסבול, זאת אומרת שיש לו נכדים.
כל כך אמריקאי.
כן, זהו, שיש לו נכדות, והוא מאמן אותן בבייסבול, מבחינתו זה ה-greatest accomplishment שלו.
מבין אותו לגמרי.
ובאמת, בן אדם, אין, זה מסוג האנשים שאתה אומר, תן לי לשבת איתו עכשיו כמה שעות, אני יוצא עם סיפורים לכל החיים.
אז הנה, אז עשינו את זה קצת.
יפה, אז בואו בלי יותר מדי קשקשת, בואו ניתן את הבמה לפט דויל, וקצת ליניב רוזנפלד, וקצת אתה וקצת אני, וקצת רעשי רקע שם מכפר הבפטיסטים, ואנחנו נחזור אליכם בסיכומו של הראיון.
Alright.
פט דויל, Hall of Famer, how was it goes? America's baseball coach Hall of Famer.
Right, American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, correct.
See? We don't get Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was enough. It was nice talking to you. Good night. No.
Well, first of all, it's an honor having you here in Israel and in Kosher Hot Dog, the first and only Hebrew podcast about baseball. And you said you wanted to do this in Hebrew, but your Hebrew is not good.
It's a little weak. Let's see, Toda, and I got that's it maybe.
Some curses? Yeah, have some curses?
The Holy Kavod, I got that one down. So,
yep.
Curses, no, I let him do all the curses.
Very good at that.
Right. So we're going to do this in English. And first of all, what brings you to Israel at this point, in this moment?
Well, at this moment, I'm kind of a co-founder and on the executive board of a non-profit called Play Global. Play Global is a group that was started by a gentleman by the name Tom Gillespie, he's actually the international scout for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He lives in Germany. We met when I was working for Major League Baseball, and so was he in London about 12, 14, 15 years ago.
Right.
And so we both have a warm spot in our heart for baseball being something more than just a moneymaker that seems to be the way that MLB produces things. And we figured, there are life skills, there are character values, there's teamwork, there's other things that can go along with helping young players become better people and being able to have skills that can help them. And so we decided to start this to go into areas where there's been either a conflict or a socioeconomic issue that might be a deterrent to having the opportunity to have enough equipment to play the game. And so we started this along with we have a board of directors and we have an advisory board that's got a lot of baseball people on it also. And so we've done our assignments and we've been here in Israel before. We started baseball lekulam.
Baseball lekulam.
Right. And then we've
which is the כדור בסיס for all.
Another way of saying it.
Yeah, okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
And so and then we've also had other projects in South Africa, Uganda, Nigeria, Ukraine, before Putin, or during Putin, but before he decided to do it.
Yeah, so, obviously.
And we said we don't want to be political, but then, and so we came back. Univ wanted us to try to get something going for a clinic and some works and working in this type of thing. So we thought it would be a good idea to come back and kind of revisit the baseball for all situation and be involved with hopefully trying to take what is going on now, which is very good within Univ, and the schools are doing a great job with it. We want to see about expanding it possibly.
Yaniv is the guy who's sitting next to us.
That's right.
Shalom, everybody.
Yes, we had Yaniv talking about Misgav and about his program last year, I think.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Yeah, and we would definitely will have him again. Only the problem is the man is unreachable. He's hiding in his castle. So how do you know Yaniv?
His mansion.
Yeah. How do you know Yaniv, by the way?
Well, I don't think I really officially met Yaniv till he picked me up at the airport.
Wow. 2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we had.
That's why you're so friendly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, he hasn't rubbed off on me the bad way.
It's been a very intense 2 weeks, I will tell you that.
So we basically,
You're
you know,
a very intense man, I have to
yeah,
say.
we did our Zoom things and all sorts of different talk, trying to prepare for the assignment. And so we've had a very busy schedule. I've had a tremendous amount of great opportunities to work with these young men and women, boys and girls, in the baseball and softball areas.
Specifically in the north.
In the north, yes. And so we've done that. Plus, I think this is my 5th trip to Baptist Village since I've been here. So I know the highway very well.
You know the dirt road, all
Yes,
the dirt
yes, I
and all
sure
the
do.
things.
I can close my eyes and think, I know where I am now.
There's a nice river down the road.
Yeah,
Right.
this is like I think of it as a sort of an oasis. The thing that like in the middle of Israel, all of a sudden there is
It's Field of Dreams.
yeah, in the middle of the desert there is a field of baseball.
And it's always been kind of an ironic aspect for me is that, you know, the Baptist Church owns the only proper, there's other ones coming along now.
Yeah, but currently
the only proper baseball.
The first one.
Yes,
that's for
the first
sure.
one. So it's been the irony is never really kind of. I always just chuckle a little bit about that, but it's. I've spent a lot of time here. I've been, you know, here to run clinics. I've been here to coach the Israel national team in 2011. So
remember that.
You know, and so I've had lots of opportunity to be involved, and so I've had a tremendous time going to the Arab Jewish School, to go to numerous tournaments and do some coach clinics in Nisgav with Yaniv and his younger coaches, to be able to work with his players of all ages every day, all day, pretty much, and it's been great. It's been a phenomenal.
What did you find there? What did you see?
Well, you know what? Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised with the level of two things: the level of enthusiasm and passion that the players have.
Oh, you met Ivry, I guess. His enthusiasm and passion.
Ivry and a whole plethora of others. I mean, just
Yeah,
kids
I
of
have
all
to
ages.
say,
So,
we just Yoni and I just saw them. Well, unfortunately, lose. And if there's one thing I told the boys myself is that they are my favorite team because they have this spirit. Everyone else has a good vibe to them, but Misgav guys have spirit. You can
They
see
want to play. They want to play.
They want to play. They want to. They enjoy playing.
and that permeates.
Yes, the guy behind you.
Coach Pat speaks when he comes in front of a group, and it's from the ages of 10 to 30. This is a game where you have to have heart, and once you have a lot of heart, it starts to actually go up to your brain. But it starts with your heart. And I felt like these past 2 weeks there was a lot of heart felt in the baseball we've put in, from the younger kids all the way to the men who unfortunately lost, but you can really feel their heart is in the game.
Because I think it doesn't really matter. Well, it does obviously if you win or lose, but I mean, what we'll remember is, for example, Ivry played a complete game. Took like I was joking. There is a song about Petach Tikva, and the guy who says, "I'm staying on this hill tonight. I'm not moving." And he did that, and he won. I mean, but there was another guy from Bet Shemesh who did the same, but he lost. And I'm like, but the idea that somebody says, "I'm gonna win this game for my team," and and baseball on the other hand, and we keep talking about it, is a game of numbers. It's a game of failures. It's a game that you can. Let's just say if somebody hits a home run, no matter how much you want, you cannot catch that ball. If no matter how much you want, you will not hit more than 3 out of 10. So there is always the balance between the passion and the energy and the realization of basically what is the hardest physical performance, which is hitting a ball moving towards you at those levels about 80 miles per hour, and on higher level at 90 to 100 miles per hour, which is almost impossible.
Well, when like I always tell our young players, I said, that if you were in school and you got 30% on a test, a math test, you'd get an F.
Yeah.
But if you hit 300 in the big leagues, you get $15-20 million.
Right.
So it's kind of weird, but I think the other thing you mentioned, dealing with adversity and dealing with failure are two of the bigger aspects of the life skill we talk about, that you have to learn how to overcome that. You have to learn how to play with it. You can do everything right and not get rewarded.
Exactly.
You can do everything almost wrong and get rewarded. You say, how does that compute? Well, it's, it just kind of like you can control so much, and after that, once the ball leaves your bat as a hitter, you can't control that anymore. Whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting young kids to be, happy for doing something right, and not ecstatic for doing something that when the little bloop goes over first base or third base and oh, they're going crazy, I got a hit.
Because and we also saw that at those levels you can see how much the fundamentals of baseball can win or lose a game. Because both team will hit, or both team will walk, or both team will get some sort of success or failure, but the team that played the fundamentals right, closing at first base, closing on a wild pitch, the pitcher the outfield coming in when they need it, those teams will be able to control the game more. And I think that at the lower level in kids, that is basically what you need to emphasize. Which I'm not supposed to tell you how you do your job, but you're saying you're nodding, so you're agreeing
I'm going
with me.
to say that you.
I wanted to get your feedback on this.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. I mean, basically, it's a game of fundamentals.
Yeah.
If most baseball games aren't won, they're lost. Usually on mistakes, walks, what we call freebies. Errors, walks, hit batters, pass balls.
Right.
Those are the types of things that are going to be the death knell of a team normally. Every now and then you get lucky, but not that often. So you find that the first thing you find out is baseball is not a game of perfect. Okay.
Right.
You're going to make mistakes. Those that can overcome those mistakes, put them in the past, kind of flush them, so to speak, out of their mind and move forward, are going to have the best chance to win. And the sound fundamentals of baseball are the key factor to any team that plays the game at any level. I'm a firm believer, and I think that I would have a lot of people who would agree with me, is that if you can't play catch, you can't play baseball. So you got to be able to throw the ball and catch the ball.
Right.
After that, then the game obviously gets more complicated, but you cannot play the game and not play catch.
All right.
And so that's the fundamental aspect of catching and throwing, and then things start to go on from there. Sometimes baseball at a young age is not playing catch; it's playing fetch. You run after the ball, run after the ball. So, you want to be in a situation where you teach that catch playing situation, and then in America, too, you find that sometimes that's the least coached part of baseball, because when a coach is warming up his young players in Little League or something like that, he's busily talking to his assistant coaches in the dugout while the kids are throwing the ball all over the place,
Right.
And instead they need to be supervised and held accountable to play catch the right way, and then it starts to work in a much more positive fashion.
That's interesting. So what brought you to baseball in the first place? As a kid or as a young man?
Okay, it was as a kid. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. We lived across the street from a Little League field. It was across the boulevard, actually. And so...
Which was?
And this is in West Los Angeles, California, near UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so my father had played baseball and football in his high school days. He grew up during the Depression, so he had an opportunity to play college football, and then Depression hit and they couldn't afford to go to college, so they had to go in a different direction. So he started to get involved with the coaching there. He and about 4 other fathers helped build most of the fields, helped create the snack bar and everything else around it, and basically gave the league, which by the way is still flourishing at this day today. This was back in the 1950s.
Wow.
And the league is still is flourishing. It's right next to the 405 freeway runs this way, and the baseball field's right next to it. now there's about 4 fields, and
right.
It's just a great complex. And so, my dad and 4 other dads really were the ones that got it going. And of course, I came along, he asked me if I wanted to play baseball, of course, and so I've still got pictures of me, as a little youngster, doing lots of things. back then there was no major league teams in the LA area.
It's before the Giants and the Dodgers came to the West.
So it was the Los Angeles Angels and the Hollywood Stars were the two big Pacific Coast League teams. Hollywood Stars. And as long as the Pacific Coast League was probably one of the most amazing leagues ever to have been put into existence, because they were, players were that far from being a major leaguer, and a lot of them should have been but weren't. But
because the focus was on the East Coast and
not
the Northeast.
No. The focus there then was the Pacific Coast League was probably at that time the most powerful minor league.
All right. I see.
And so
they basically saw themselves as an alternative or even a competitor to the Major League Baseball, not as a farm system.
Well, you figure this way: there were teams in Seattle. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's now a Major League team in Seattle. There were teams in San Diego. There's now a Major League team in San Diego.
Right.
There were two PCL teams in LA. Now there were two Major League teams. So
they were like the basics.
So they were the building blocks, I think, of the interest, and you can see how it was such an attractive place for the ownership of the Giants and Dodgers to move to LA, because it was a fertile market. It was a fast growing area. It's going to be a huge television market, and so it grew from that way. And then the PCL is still in existence, but it's not at the same level.
Obviously,
I mean, Joe DiMaggio and his brothers all played in the PCL. Lefty Gomez pitched in the PCL. I mean, all former Yankees. Okay,
and Red Sox. Done.
And so anyway, it was it was a harbinger of, I think, of what was to come in Major League Baseball, because it really was an easy segue for fans to go from the PCL to either the Dodgers or the Angels in that area. So it was really a heyday. I loved going to those games. I can still remember going to PCL games. Yeah.
Sometimes the atmosphere at because when you don't have Major League, and even if you do the communal teams, because I went on Friday and saw a juniors league, and there were easily 100 people there.
In the stands,
on the stands, almost on the field.
Under the stands.
Yeah, everywhere. I mean, that was, I had the most fun I had.
That's something very unique to Israeli baseball, to say.
I don't know, I think
the junior league, for the last 5 years, is not necessarily higher quality, but is definitely more competitive.
Yeah,
we had 5 teams finish with 10 wins and 7 losses this season. They were all very close, and all the playoff games were very close.
Right.
And Ranana, or an incredible system with Freddie and
it's funny because then you can have like one guy truly, Shohei Ohtani the game, the guy who he threw almost a complete game and threw a inside the park home run, and
Aviad Schechter.
Yeah, he was amazing. Bore 42 on the back. That was also. I'm like Jackie Robinson as a hitter and Mariano as a pitcher.
So Aviad Schechter.
Yeah.
Coach Pattis talked to him throughout his trip.
Right.
He's going to Texas with the U19 guys.
Right, and he wants to stay and actually.
Yeah,
What are the teammates to find a place in Texas where they can work out for a month?
You didn't play professionally. You went straight to coaching.
No, actually, I did play professionally. My baseball pathway started off as many young people in the United States. I played Little League and Pony League and Colt League and American Legion and high school baseball.
Pitcher.
For all that time, I played at a junior college, and then I went to Fresno State University on a baseball scholarship in Fresno State.
Right.
They were a very big power in the West Coast, and actually they won the College World Series back in 2008. So I played there, and then my senior year my junior year I was like 7-0 as a pitcher, and had I have an ERA.
Back of the days that the
pitchers did win.
Wins.
Pitchers did win games.
Back then, wins were wins, man.
Because you were the only one.
There was no analytical, subterfuge going on.
No OPS.
Yeah. You either ran out of outs because the game was over, or you ran out of outs because your hand was dropping. That's the only way you get out of the game.
And so that was all great. Then when my senior year, I got a bad injury. I got stepped on covering first base, and we got my Achilles tendon kind of shredded, basically. So they were able to put it back together surgically, rehab that. Did not get my year of eligibility back because I only pitched 2 innings again in the very first game of the year.
Right.
That was a political thing that went on.
It says here your ERA was 131.
Right.
School record.
I think it's still in that area.
Yeah.
So.
It's still a school record. Okay.
So that injury, that's what stopped you from going forward?
Not really.
Well, no.
That was what you want to call it, the hiatus, or almost the motivator to really come back is better than I was before. So I worked very hard to get my leg back in place. The only good thing that came out of that injury is that I was not able to go into the armed services because they were having the draft.
Right, the Vietnam years. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I can thank God I'm Dewey Belli who stepped on my foot for thanks to it.
All right.
So I ended up playing summer ball with a team when I could finally get back to pitching. With the team that was out of the state of Nevada, and we went all over. We went to Alaska. We played in the state of Washington.
Wow.
Played in Colorado.
That's a road trip.
Yeah. Played in. We ended up in Wichita, Kansas, at the National Baseball Congress tournament, which eventually I coached in, and we won when I coached for Anchorage.
All right.
So I pitched very well there, and a Red Sox scout saw me, and so he contacted the Red Sox scout in our area. It was a guy named Glenn Wright, who was actually he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And so he contacted me and said, "Hey, we've got a $1,000 bonus if you want to sign." And that was before the draft. You know, $1,000 this day and age, you'll look at it and spit at it. But wow, really? So I did that, and I played for a year in the Boston Red Sox organization. I was already older, so
it's like single A.
Single A. It was single in the Midwest League in Waterloo, Iowa. The Waterloo Hawks. Okay. So we played in the Midwest League, which was basically the league all the way up and down the Mississippi River in that area. And so.
And then you went to Lodi.
In Lodi, what happened was that when I came back from playing professionally, I coached for a year with our head college coach, and had the really good experience. Our team was very good, and we won our conference, and we played in the NC2A regionals at USC. That time when University of Southern California was the penultimate college baseball program. So we played it with USC, Cal Poly Pomona, which had a coach who's in the Baseball Hall of Fame, or in the American Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Same with Washington State. So here I am, a youngster, out there, and I'm coaching third base, and I'm still freaking nervous. What am I doing here? But anyway, so our first game we ended up going 18 innings and got called to count of darkness. Had to come back and play it the next day. Finished that, we lost it by 1 run, and then won the next game. And then we played the same team again and played another 16 innings, and had to come back the next day and lost by another run. So it was quite a series.
See, a game of failures.
Yes. And so anyway, so that kind of
those tournaments. I mean, like the NCAA World Series. I mean,
which is going on right now. Actually,
which is insane. There's like the dozens and dozens of just getting into Omaha is like an achievement for itself. Because
it's a major accomplishment to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
well, most of the conferences now have usually 12 to 15 or 16, and then some. There might be some smaller conferences that have a bigger number, but like the Southeast Conference, which is kind of like the. But anyway, it's very competitive to get there, and it's
insane.
And so then with all the other things going on with NC2A baseball or NC2A sports, the NIL, name, image, and likeness, and the transfer portal, it's the wild, wild west. It's college sports right now.
But it's fun. I really enjoy that. So when did you become a full-fledged coach or manager?
Well, right after I came back and I finished my college degree and my teaching credential, you might say. And so someone from Lodi High School, the athletic director, called my baseball coach and said, "We're looking for a freshman baseball coach. Do you know anybody?" And he goes, "Yeah, I think I do." So he called me. I called the athletic director, and the next thing you know, I'm stuck in Lodi again. That was the
all right. I wonder when we will get to that.
There you go. And so I've been in that area ever since. I started off at Lodi High School, then a new high school opened up, and I started that baseball program, and we were very successful. And then from there I went to the junior college, San Joaquin Delta College, and was a baseball coach there for over 25 years. And then basically later on in my career, during my time at Delta, I also started working for Major League Baseball.
Right.
As an envoy coach, and then as the director of, basically the supervisor, coordinator of coaching programs in Europe and Africa for Major League Baseball.
During those 25 years, there are some professional big players that came through.
We had some very good players, yeah. So it's probably the biggest name if you're really a baseball aficionado is a left-handed pitcher named Eddie Guardado. Eddie,
of course.
Everyday Eddie is twins, and so he's a two-time All-Star. And so he pitched for me, and then he.
I remember he's a very quick worker.
Yes, very quick worker. Very very competitive. He was a closer. In one year he led the major leagues in appearances. They called it Everyday Eddie. So it was his name.
Nice.
And so in fact we're still good friends. We talk all the time. In fact, his son now is just looking to go to college. So we're trying to see what we can do for him. His son was the most valuable player of his community college conference. And then named Jason Bartlett was a shortstop for Minnesota.
Yeah, I remember him.
And Bartlett he was the starting shortstop for Tampa Bay when they played in the World Series against the Phillies. Catcher named Ken Huckabee. Ken Huckabee was on the Diamondbacks when they won the World Series.
So you should know him.
Miller was the first one. It was the backup for Miller.
Yes.
Damian Miller was the.
And so
one of Yoni's favorite moments in life.
Yeah. And when he played in Toronto, he was Roy Halladay's personal catcher.
Wow.
But he could really catch and throw. And then he was with the Red Sox, and he was basically there to catch Tim Wakefield
because of the
knuckleball.
And he was in the Red Sox.
He was a great catch and throw guy. He wasn't known for his hitting or his running speed, but he also has a bit of importance in New York Yankee history.
What?
I don't know if you recall. I think it was with Toronto. There was a game where Derek Jeter was going from first to third and did a head-first slide into third base, and the catcher was there that tagged him, and Jeter got injured.
He got done for the season, first game of the season.
Or whenever it was. That was Ken Huckabee. That was my former player.
Okay.
I apologize profusely.
No. You taught him well. Okay, and before we get to the Israeli team, how did you get to Anchorage? And
it was the coach prior to me was from the Stockton area. He coached at a university called Cal Poly down in San Luis Obispo, and he decided he wasn't going to coach anymore. He became a scout with the Chicago Cubs. So they mentioned my name, and they called me and interviewed me and said, "Would you want to come up?" And I could bring the family, and the money was decent as far as not losing money anyway, and being able to.
How old were you?
At that time, that was 19.
I can tell you, it's 1990, 1991.
1990, 91, so much younger than I am.
Yeah, obviously.
You had kids, you had family already.
So yeah,
we were going to Alaska.
And my daughters loved it, and my son he was just 1.5 when we went to our first year. He got his first haircut ever in Alaska, and Eddie Guardado was on that team too, and so that was kind of fun to
Anchorage is the more habitable part of that state. I've
coached baseball as a visiting team in Fairbanks and in Matsu, which is just north of Anchorage, also on the Kenai Peninsula. So if you're a fisherman and a baseball coach, that's like nirvana.
That's it. You don't need anything else.
All right, and so when was the connection made to come and coach Israel?
Even before.
Even before that.
When was the first time you heard about Israel? During your youth, or did you know about Israel?
In his Pesach, in the Seder, in the.
Well, Israel baseball probably not, but I mean I was, I'm a Christian, so I mean the Bible and excuse me.
So Easter, not
those things are historically very significant. Excuse me. So I knew a lot about that, and then of course, Israel was in the news for certain areas, for differing factors, and always had a very real keen interest in looking at a society. And so, I was always enthralled with your survival and how.
All right.
And I'm also I really enjoy. I'm a World War II aficionado, and then watching the whole aspect of gaining your freedom, getting your independence has always been something that hugely interested me a lot. In fact, my first trip to Israel, probably besides the Holocaust Museum, the Polmak Museum was one of the most interesting. I thought that was
amazing place.
So again, when did you hear about the team, and when was the connection
when I first
made?
started, dealing, I saw when I was working for Major League Baseball, it would be in different areas where there would be tournaments or things that were going on, and one I can still see this graphically clear. It was in the Friuli area, north of Venice, and an Israeli youth team was playing. I think this was like the cadets, maybe. I'm thinking
either U15 or U12.
Yeah, I think it was U15. I'm pretty sure.
Which years we're talking?
This would have been 99 or 2000, maybe 2001 at the outside.
No, it's who would be playing? It would be 35 now, 34.
And so, as the Israeli team was coming in, I saw this rather large, physically fit gentleman, kind of staying close at hand, and you could tell that he had something other than just a pocket lighter in his pocket. And I was like, wow, look at that. And then I thought that was really interesting, and the kids played. They played pretty well.
A lot of the big Chamish team. So Alon Leichman might have been a little young then, but Tuskinen and Josh Alter, that would have been the age,
right? And so that was my first time of really seeing that in action. And then when one of the other things I did when I worked for Major League Baseball, I went to the Congress of European Baseball. Had an annual convention thing every year, a meeting, and I went to all those. And so that's where I met Haim, and I met a number of. In fact, the first one I went to was in Eilat in 2001.
Wow. So that was your first trip to Israel?
That was my first trip to Israel.
See the better place first, and then come to the.
And I tell you, I've heard about security getting into Israel can be difficult sometimes. You got to be careful. And so. So we get into it, and we had to take an internal flight then from, and plus also that was just the time when there was a pilot strike or something going on. Right, so it was the airport security. I was interrogated by one person, and then that's okay. And so that was a very eye-opening experience for me, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And,
all right.
And then I came and did clinics here one year, and then I did another time. Of course, I ended up coaching the national team in 2011. And so all those years.
That was Jupiter?
Jupiter tournament? 11 and 12, I actually scouted. I was still working for MLB at that time. And so I scouted the European Championships for Spain and France who were going to be in the tournament. So I did extensive scouting reports, and then went to Jupiter and with Brad Osmus and the crew there, and they gave all the scouting reports and this type of thing. So that was kind of a fun thing.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that was an almost for them.
We had like a conference here when you came, and it was some press conference. Yeah, it was a big thing.
Yes, and then so that was, I think, the last time we'd been in the country was about 2011. At that, so that was I think it was my third or fourth trip. So. When this opportunity came up, it was very intriguing for me, and something I really wanted to do, and to kind of backfill through some of the young players that I had coached or helped get to the United States, and also I was also the bench coach for the 2017 WBC. So there's been lots of connections with Israel through the years, and it's been really a very phenomenal experience for me. I've really enjoyed it.
Right. So, and I have to say, I need to thank you, because for me, as a currently sole baseball fan, I mean, the fact that we have a Team Israel who plays in what is the de facto World Cup, of baseball is for me the greatest thing in the world. I love the team. See, I have the
yes, I see that.
Fan number one.
Yeah, really. I'm like I'm probably the only Israeli whose only team is the baseball team. No football, no nothing.
But, yeah, I got you on that one.
All right. So you said you do clinics, and can you elaborate exactly what do you do? I mean, you just see a guy hit and you tell him what he should fix, or is there a broader concept of what is a clinic?
I think it's a broader concept because, as the famous Yankee Yogi Berra said, that baseball is 90% physical and 50% mental, or so whatever. Yeah, whatever.
He said a lot of stuff.
So, there's you'll learn, the more you're in the game, you'll learn the fact that no matter what percent of baseball is considered to be mental, the mental game, it controls everything else.
Right.
It's in control of all your physical attributes, how you deal with failure, how you deal with success, how you can deal with slumps, all these different factors.
Right.
It's so much mental and so much focus and preparation. So part of the things we'll do will be mental game things. In fact, one of the clinic sessions I did with Chaim a few years ago was the Positive Coaching Alliance, which is a big group in the United States, which covers all sports. But it deals with how to give young people the best opportunity to succeed in sport, and it deals with filling their emotional tank, helping to understand how to honor the game, how to deal with how you treat officials and opponents and this type of thing. And so it's a really very solid and very positive approach to the any sport. But so I use that for part of the baseball clinics, and then we also do different things such as you say, hitting, all the physical aspects of the game too. So, and again, like anything else, it's a process. Showing somebody how to hit a ball once and they do it 4 or 5 times and say, you're cured. Okay. Well,
right.
It doesn't quite work that way.
No.
So you have to be in a situation where you have to really emphasize the fact, okay, you did it well now. You have to understand how that feels.
Right.
You have to get that the situation to be able to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over ad nauseum. If you really want to.
And this is the amazing thing, and that's why that Yogi Berra 90% mental and the other half is physical or whatever is so true, because first of all you have to take BP every day for ages since you are a small kid. And even then, when you get into the big leagues and you play for $20 million a year, and all of a sudden you go through 2 weeks where you can't hit a ball, which is, I find it amazing that people at those levels get slumps, which can take them out.
It's the only sport.
I think so. Yeah, you don't see Stephen Curry goes through 2 weeks without being able to throw a three-pointer.
Well, you see him; he'll be in a little bit smaller slumps shooting-wise, but there's times when he's had 3 or 4, 5, 6 games where he just doesn't.
But
3, 4,
in baseball, you can see a player like having like a 2 or 3 very good years, and then
a lousy year.
Yeah. You don't see that in NBA or.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, and obviously it's a different thing that every at bat, every hit, every pitch is different. Is a complete world in terms of the guessing game, and I'm sitting fastball, but I'm gonna look for the curve, and then but if he throws me this, and he will throw you in, and the pitcher doesn't want to walk you, and all that world, and inside the game, inside the season, and I'm always amazed that you can actually take all that and coach somebody, because it feels not gigantic, but overbearing task to try to do all that and do it simple in the terms that a human being and an athlete can understand.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, the more simplification you can imbue into your coaching and into the game, the easier it's going to be for someone to get back on task again for a while. But what happens is that when you get into the aspect of the mental game, especially a slump, slumps usually relate to 2 things. Your eyes are not your eyes are still 20/20 or whatever you want to go, but your eyes are not really setting you up for success. Number 2, there's muscle tension involved in there somehow that is causing some form of a fundamental flaw in your swing. I just shown you need today a video of J.D. Martinez, who's considered a very
obviously.
They showed him when he was with the Red Sox, and they showed him now with the Dodgers, and he's having a great year.
Yeah,
and you can look at we both could see what the difference, but it was just
it's like a tweak.
Just
Minor.
a tweak. Yeah, very seemingly minor, but a lot of times the minor things are the major things.
Different
Yeah,
player.
obviously.
It's a different player.
And he was a safe bet all the time. I mean, I always say that I would like J.D. Martinez in my team because I know he's going to perform.
Right.
But now he took his average performance and pushed it higher. And you say they did someday, or he did something minor, he changed a minor thing
It's
in
like
his
coaching stuff that sees something that the others didn't.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
right.
I know about, for example, the thing I know about is when they take aging pitchers and they teach them and they say, listen, you're still trying to throw like a 25-year-old yourself, and you're 35. So they teach them how to throw like a 35-year-old self.
How to be a pitcher. Not
Yeah,
just to
exactly.
throw.
That's the famous thing.
Yeah,
That's
not
the
to
biggest
rely
thing.
on plus velocity to
Right.
get your job done. And now you change speeds more. You can locate better your command.
Yeah,
in
use
the
your
strike zone.
experience, use what
Yeah.
you know in those
Yeah, your
years.
command in the strike zone and out of the strike zone. Both is very important because you need to be able to throw balls when you want to throw balls too.
And can you really do those? Can you really change or coach somebody in say a week or a few days, or does it, as you say, you come into a clinic? Can you change or help somebody in a few days, or do you need to, as we always assume, you need to know him inside and outside and all that?
Well, I think you can change a person short term very quickly by seeing, especially if it's a major flaw or something, you can really correct that. But then, because it's being a process, they have to continue to do that. And so once the coach leaves, that's where the magic of videotape and other things that can help really kind of sustain that situation where they can actually see it.
Yes, the guy on the blue shirt.
There's three elements to Pat's visit.
Mm-hmm.
And so one is actual coaching, and not only coaching but mentoring those players.
Right.
But that's not the main part of the visit. The main part of the visit was really to work with the counselors and the coaches, and with them it's divided into two. We had 2 1.5-hour clinics. One was talking about the Positive Coaching Alliance and the mental part, and the club mental part, and what's their significance as coaches and as mentors. And the other part was really baseball. How do we become better coaches?
That I think that's what leads us to the next question, which is what is the most thing that we need here in Israel?
Right. Well, coaches.
And I think it's coaching mainly.
Exactly, and I'll tell you, it's you can do something. I use the term, you can plant a rose in the middle of the desert. And it'll look pretty for a day or two, but before long it's going to wilt and die.
Right.
So it's kind of like saying if you're going to coach players, you have to have coaches around them that are going to be with them and sustain the situation for longer periods of time.
Day in, day out.
And so coaching, you can go out and get kids interested in baseball, but if there's no sustainability, there's no place to go, no place to keep the the passion that they've developed or the interest for the game that they developed, to keep that moving forward, then you're going to find that it'll die off.
Right.
And so that's where you take a gentleman like Yaniv here, who is a tremendously passionate person about.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Oh my!
And and it shows in his everyday work. Because I tell you right now, if you were to take the field in Misgav and move it to the United States, somebody would want to plow it under, because it's not a really great baseball field.
It's not a field.
But it's not
really a field.
No, it isn't. But it's everything around it and the people on it that make the difference.
It's the heart.
And so I look at it, akin to the Dominican Republic. How many Dominican players are there in the big leagues that grew up on a field just like something similar, worse than Misgav? And yet here they are. They can catch a ground ball.
But they have somewhere to jump to.
Well, yeah,
it stops there. That's the problem.
Well, that's where we're trying to create some pathways for that to hopefully, and again, that's a slow process, but there's.
But on the other hand, the Dominican Republic, they don't have soccer or basketball, which and they also have a situation where they only exit out of the Dominican Republic is for those 200 guys who manage, or a few thousand who manage to escape through baseball. And Israel, thank God, is not in that situation. So I mean, the Dominican Republic is a unique case. I'm just saying. I think visibility of, as you said, of the game or a passion is very important to draw kids. But we need they need to have somebody, as after you leave, you give them your wisdom, and you leave. They need the coach to say, okay, now we're gonna practice this day in and day out. We need to continue to maintain this. And yeah, I agree with Yoni. We need coaches, and I don't.
No doubt about it. Yeah. You need, and young people need something to aspire to.
Right.
All right. So if I'm going to play baseball, and my parents really don't understand the game, but they said, okay, well, you can try this, and then you get into it for a while, and your coach leaves, or something happens, and next thing you know, it kind of just dwindles away. So you need to have that foundational part of the sport, which is the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have opportunities to compete and get better within your country. And I can see I think that's improving
It is.
in a rather nice fashion, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the other end result, the other end of the tunnel is Alon Leishmans and Asaf Longarts
Exactly.
and other people who have taken baseball to another level that any of these kids out here could do that. I mean, if they had, the wherewithal and the passion and the desire and the chutzpah, so to speak, to really get it going.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and that's all related to the fact that they've also had coaches that have helped them do that, to mentor them through this.
Yeah, and we are counting on some of those kids who will go to college that will come back and teach the next generation. And once we have this
Sector of life.
yeah, well, I was thinking more of manufacturing line.
Yes.
You coach them, you send them to college, they come back, they coach the next generation, and once we get that rolling, maybe we will able to start looking at more.
Yeah, but for now we need to find people like you
Yes.
that want to come here.
Which
and
is why your
stay
flight
here.
is cancelled. Welcome to Israel.
There's a strike.
You
Sorry,
need
there's
to
a
got me
strike.
for another week.
Let's talk a little bit about what did you find? Which flowers did you see here? What is the next generation looking like? Names, ID numbers. And when are they
Social
not?
security.
When are they not? We in Israel we share the social security number everywhere. It's kind of Americans who see us give the ID in every form. They would go insane.
Well, I'll start off with two younger players in Mizgov that I think are that love the game. They live the game. One is Oz, and the other is Noam.
Oz?
Yep, Oz and Noam,
Wait,
both in 7th grade.
All right, so
Oh, wow.
I didn't see them.
Okay.
Amit is another one who's in
Youngsters.
Yep, Oz and Noam are both in 7th grade. And
Oz, what the full name?
Oz Orenstein.
It's like 13 years old.
Yes, Oz is not yet 13, and Noam is 13 going on 14. Noam Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
They're both U14 this year.
Cool. Okay.
And when Coach Pat got on, the first day he was in Misgav, he got on the field and he saw them, and they can play okay, they have a little bit of talent. You could see their passion, and he said, well, what do you like about baseball? And the kid scratched his head and went, baseball is my life.
Oh, wow.
And that's that kind of attitude is what you want to really start. And then that's the one you really got to spend time with to nurture that.
Nice.
And I think that why would that happen in Mizgov to these two young people? I think part of it has to do with what's offered in Mizgov and how it's offered.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm sure there are young boys in Tel Aviv that have a similar feeling.
Yeah.
But is to give them then the opportunity to take that passion, that real intensity for the game, and to have coaches that are going to let them work with them and be able to help grow that. And then needs to come the next step after that is, they hopefully will do well in the international tournaments, Europe and wherever else they go. And then you got to find that they're going to get seen. There's going to be an opportunity for college sports,
Hopefully.
and then you get back to what I think is to me one of the I know all sports have a similar part of this. I think baseball does it best. Is the give back to the game attitude.
Right.
Is that how important it's going to be for Asaf and for Alone and for Oz and for Noam when they get to those ages to come back and, as you mentioned earlier,
pay it forward.
Okay, pay it forward and come back and give back to the game.
Right. And and anything more closer on the radar? I mean, not just Misgav, from everything you see. We already mentioned, we mentioned Riyadh, we mentioned Aviv? He's special.
Aviv Bobrov.
Aviv
Oh,
Bobrov.
yes, I know you very well. And so he's, I think he can be a pretty special player.
I think so. Every time I see him, and I saw him pitch a few times, he has other than not being a fully polished pitcher, I think he has the mindset for it. I think he feels like he owns the mound, he feels like he knows what he wants to achieve, what he's doing, and has the control to get it.
Yeah, his body language, his the way he carries himself, the way he approaches every hitter, the way he approaches every pitch, it's almost like a workman-like atmosphere where he doesn't seem to get rattled by anything that goes on around him. He just gets the ball and I got to make the next best pitch, and he's I really that was one of the first things that struck me was wow, he has that feeling about him that he's not going to get rattled and he's going to find his way through it.
Right.
Okay, and
which is we always have this discussion, me and Yoni, which I love those people who think that's like a cone of silence on the mound, and he likes the Randy Johnson, the Max Scherzers, the inside man is gonna kill you. And I like the cone of silence things.
The David Combs.
The Jacob de Grams, the Musina. It's always like the Musina and the other Glavin. So I like those guys, and Bobrov immediately strikes me as again. And when he delivers, he can. I mean, sometimes he delivers, and the guys at his age are like, they're not. It's not even a competition.
Because of the semifinals youth game, we missed him at the playoffs. We didn't see him like really pitching in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. But I did see him at the start of the Maccabiah, and I saw him
during the season.
Yeah, and he did perform amicably a couple of times, and you can really see that when he's young, so he won't be bringing his A game every time, which is the reason.
And he's got to get a lot stronger physically.
Yeah, and obviously he needs to eat, and he needs to grow some mass. But
it's going to be interesting. When I leave here, I'm not going back to California. I'm going to London because Major League Baseball has they have the series, the Cubs and the Cardinals. So I'm not going to either of those games, but I'm going to be going to they have a development tournament for kids from all over Europe.
The idea that Major League Baseball, let's just say Major League Baseball, I think, and this may coincide with what you're talking about at the start, they have this idea that you bring in the big guns and baseball will filter down. And that's what they try to do in China, and that's what they try to, and you need to explain to them that baseball needs to come from the ground up.
Because why don't you explain this to them, Coach?
No, because they see America, and in America every kid is playing soccer, and when they get to the college or the high school, they move to basketball and football and baseball because that's where the money is.
Right.
And you need to explain to them that in England they have like 500 years of playing soccer and cricket and boxing and whatever, and they're not going to change overnight.
Well, let's put it this way. I have tried to explain that.
All right. No, you said when you started, you said this was your the way of thinking, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, so here when I was coordinating the international coaching programs, we had the Envoy program would be where we would bring over high school and college coaches, some ex-pros, who would spend anywhere from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 weeks with a baseball club or in a certain area of different countries, and it started to develop a baseball culture, and it started to percolate up from the ground. There's many coaches that are still coaching right now that were learned their coaching acumen from the envoy coaches. And there were players that developed because of that, and there were clubs that developed because of that. And it hit about 20 years of that program and Major League Baseball when Rob Manfred came in, and they changed their philosophy. They said, nope, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna start doing the. We want to play a game in here and a game there. And so it's the best way it was described to me by a vice president who was my boss he said, there's the big B of baseball and the little b of baseball.
Right.
The big B is anything that has a dollar sign attached to it. It's what the owners want to see.
Right.
Okay? From apparel to you name it. Okay. The whole economic engine of baseball. Mm-hmm. The little b of baseball, he says, is that's you. He's pointing to me. He says, you're doing game development. You're trying to get kids to be interested in the game, grow the game, get coaches going, and you're spenders. And that's a spending thing. And right now, and still the same. They don't want to spend the money. They want to make the money, but they don't want to spend it. And so,
it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work. And
but
when they cut off this program,
this is like baseball, and everything you said, which it can be parallel to life. That is also can be find parallels in life. Well, we had you in for an hour, Yoni. Is there anything you really wanted to ask, and I kept you not? Because
no, but I want to sum up in one small idea.
All right,
continues
please.
The thinking about
please. The door is locked and the guest is tied.
I'm reading a book now about Israeli independence war. Okay. 1948.
Because you have nothing better to do.
Because I like those stuff.
All right.
Sorry. I read sports or history, that's it.
Yeah.
Two good choices.
Yeah. And we have a lot of history,
Yes.
And not a lot of sports.
I read the American sports.
All right. That's good.
So, Ben Gurion sent some good people from here to the States before the war to bring people to Israel to build the army. We didn't have an army yet. So he went there and find some Jewish people that wanted to help and could leave everything and come here and build it.
Right.
Sometimes I feel that's really where we are now. We need to find some good people that really want to find some time that they can give us and come here and spend. You can 2 weeks. It's amazing thing to do, but we need more than that.
No doubt about it.
And if you can go there back and find some guys and send them here, that would be amazing.
See, my thought is to get younger players who don't have the need for an economic boon of lots of money but to come here and be like the envoy coaches we sent to different countries where they come and they work in 3 or 4 different areas. Mm-hmm. They'd stay for a month or more and create a good footprint, and then you could then start the aspect of sustainability, and then the next year someone else comes in or maybe the same one comes back. Hard telling, but I think that's I agree with you. I think that is a real solid pathway to do it, because to me it does a couple things. Number one, it brings, and they have to be the right people, but it brings the level of expertise and experience, and they could be young enough to be playing with the U19s or the juniors or even play the men's league and up the level there. And again, it starts to then create better baseball. And when you create better baseball, you create better baseball players, and then you create better baseball players. You create a better baseball culture.
Right, and when you play in a league with good players, you have to rise up to the occasion and so on. Now, it sort of reminds me, I was like, if baseball was a religion, and I think they made a mistake, did not incorporate as a religion, but as a sport, because you have those Mormons who send you have to do a year and a half in Tahiti or whatever, in Suriname or stuff.
Or they send them to Las Vegas too. I mean, they send them all over the place.
So the religious sect of baseball would come to the Holy Land and the Holy Baptist Church and teach kids for a year and a half baseball, and that would be a solution for every.
Well, the only thing is you have to provide a lot of bicycles. They bicycle everywhere they go. So, but no, I mean that kind of is that is in essence kind of what you need. I mean, I think it's.
I think
it's a financial issue, and there's a logistics issue, and there's
also an issue of ego.
Well, of everything.
You have to be ready to say, we want to grow and we want to get better. And the only way to get better is to think, well, how do we bring gentlemen in from the States and from places like that, and to be humbled by them and to be ready to improve there. And we here in Israel, we have to have that mindset of.
And I think we're getting closer.
We are. It's a process. It won't happen in a year. Coach, it's been a pleasure, and we can. I mean, I promised Yaniv that we're going to release you because you have. You have people to see and things to do, so we will release you.
Yeah, he has a softball game to win, so we have some very important things to do here.
Yeah, so. and I mean, I think the most endearing thing which I did when I did my scouting report is when you got the Hall of Fame induction,
right.
And you said that for you, after all those years, going to coach your grandkid baseball, that was like full circle, because the kid who was coached in baseball when he was very, very young, as you said, in West LA, as now as a grandparent teaches his grandchildren the same game he fell in love with.
And that probably is the highlight of my career.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's everything was for this moment, so you can play catch with your grandchildren.
I know, and that's one of the most enduring and wonderful things that'll ever. It's to my dying day, I think that's going to be one of the best things that's ever happened to me. So I'm really.
And
pleased.
Just for that, I want to thank you, because as long as this circle will, as Yoni said, the circle will continue to move, I think we have a chance that baseball will still be. We have hope here and everywhere, because this is the game we love.
Well, I think it's conversations like this. It's people that have that passion that are going to make it happen. Now, it might not happen today, but again, you start planting little seeds, and you keep building it, and you keep growing it, and you keep kind of getting more continuity, and you get a stronger framework, and next thing
you build it, they will come.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Coach Rato, for the season, for everything. It's been a wonderful year with you guys, and I hope to be back when you guys invite
already.
You are always invited. The only problem is you can't just cross the door. Just knock on the door.
It's much nicer in English.
You're much nicer and calmer, and we don't need to censor anything. Thank you very much.
But just wait till he gets on the field.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
We will talk to you whenever you're again in Israel. You obviously are invited, and
I would love to do that.
And we will take you up on it.
We're waiting.
Thank you very much. How my granddaughters are doing it.
That's great.
זהו, זה היה הרעיון שלנו. שמע, אני די בטוח איך אומרים, לא נגענו בקצה הקרחון שם באלסקה עם הבן אדם.
נכון. אם לא היו דופקים לנו על הדלת מתישהו ואומרים שהוא חייב ללכת, אפשר היה להמשיך פה עוד שעתיים בכיף.
כן, וצריך לזכור, הוא לא בא בשבילנו, הוא בא בשביל לעשות שם סקאוט, הוא עושה שם סקאוטינג טייפ, נדמה לי, של אביב, בוברוב ושל עוד כמה זה. כלומר, הוא בא לצלם אותם כדי לשלוח לזה. קיצור, עבודת קודש הבן אדם הזה עושה.
ממש.
וגם למי שפספס, הוא לא עושה את זה לא מציונות ולא מאמונה, בן אדם נוצרי, כאילו...
כן, אין קשר.
אין קשר לא לישראל, אולי מהבחינה, גם לא מהבחינה אוונגליסטית, כאילו, זה לא שהוא בא לפה בקטע של ג'יזוס, הוא בא לפה בקטע של בייסבול.
ממש.
זה היה ממש ממש מרגש.
הוא עושה את זה עם כל הלב, ודי ברור שהוא יחזור, זאת אומרת... יהיו לנו עוד הזדמנויות, אני בטוח.
אני מקווה מאוד, אבל זה כבר יהיה במשדרים עתידיים, כי בניגוד לבייסבול, אצלנו תמיד יודעים מתי המשדר מסתיים.
נכון.
בלי שום דבר, נסיים בזאת. ניתן למצוא אותנו באתר בייסבול פודקאסט co.il או ביוטיוב, youtube.com/a-כושר-הוטדוג. תוכלו למצוא את הפודקאסט באפל פודקאסט, ספוטיפיי, גוגל, וכמובן בכל האפליקציות. כשאתם שם, דרגו אותנו, תנו לנו משוב, סמנו לייק, פרגנו ב5 כוכבים, ואם יש לכם חבר שאוהב בייסבול, פשוט גלו לו את העובדה שיש את אי כושר הוטדוג, הוא יגיד לכם תודה.
חבר, בוס.
כן, בדיוק.
מה שבא.
אם כבר מדברים על תודה, אז תודה מאוד מיוחדת למפיק האחראי שלנו, חיים כץ, שאגב, היה לו יד ורגל, הוא בעניין הזה.
כמו תמיד, אגב.
כן, כן, הוא ממש תפס אותי ואמר לי, הנה פט, בוא תדבר איתו, קח טלפונים בזה. טוב, אתה יודע, כשהוא פעם נסע לראות משחק של הקאבס, של הפיירטס נגד הקאבס בשיקגו, והוא לא ידע איך מגיעים לריגלי פילד, אז הוא תפס נהג מונית. אז הנהג מונית אמר לו, ריגלי פילד, מכיר רחוב סוזה? אז סמי סוזה.
חשבתי כבר, רצית להגיד שהוא עלה על האוטובוס והוא לקח את קאבס 1 או קאבס 2.
בבקשה, אתה רואה שאתה יודע. ניתן להמשיך את הדיון בפייסבוק ובאתר רמת
אני לא בטוח שכדאי, אבל ניתן.
אופסי או אייל, יוני משהו לאומה לפני שסוגרים.
סיום קיץ, מענה לכולם, יאללה ספטמבר.
תודה לכם על ההאזנה לאי כושר הוטדוג עם יוני לב-ארי וארז שץ ובייסבול טוב ישראל.
יאללה ביי.
Swung on a drill to right field. Doing back Sanders on the track at the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! A home run!
שלום וברוכים הבאים לאי כושר הוטדוג, פודקאסט הבייסבול הראשון בעברי
משפט אחד יש לנו, אחד, זהו.
You had one word.
ממש.
A country.
You want a drink of water or something?
If you have one, that would be great.
Oh, you can. Yeah, have at it.
Oh, thank you.
Double. Finish it. It's holy water from the Baptist. Holy Baptist water.
And so
there's one strike.
Yeah, we.
Some strike every
So
day.
I can still remember being interrogated by.
Israelis handle change by not doing anything and assessing the situation. So, like, if there is if the night falls, all the car stops on the road. We have a traffic jam just to make sure everything's okay.
Okay, I got you.
When the sun rises, we have a traffic
And then everybody honks, and then you realize
jam. Yeah, exactly.
Israel.
So every time there is a change, every time we have a strike, we have traffic jams, we stop, we assess, and we continue.
They say, who are you with again? And what was going on? You know, so this went on. And it was.
See, that's not mine either.
לא, זה של מישהו
Somebody's apple is...
כן, זה סתם מכשיר.
Anna Weiss.
הטלפון הזה... Oh my god. Okay, there's a phone here. I don't even know whose office it is, but there's a phone.
Somebody's looking for it.
Right.
Alright. Yeah, sorry. Eilad, yeah.